I think they may have been asking what happens when they get too old to work. Do their children take care of them? Well, that certainly makes more sense. My grandpa on my mom's side died before I was born, and as long as I can remember, my grandmother lived in the same house as my uncle, her son, and I remember always having a wood cutting party basically for her every fall, and we'd go and fill her woodshed with wood enough to last all winter. And my grandpa on my dad's side the same way. My grandparents, the whole family would get together one day in the fall and cut enough wood to last them all winter. I remember putting a roof on my grandpa's house. All of the grandkids and uncles, obviously, cousins, everybody was there. My grandpa lived in what was called a dotty house, a grandpa's house, basically. The farm that he had growing up, he sold to one of his sons, and then he built a little house on the same property, and that's where he lived. And you'll see that a lot with two houses on the same property. It's called a dotty house, and that's the way they take care of their elderly. In more modern communities, they might send their elderly to a nursing home, especially if they needed constant care. But I don't know. In my community, it was not considered right, and it wasn't considered practical. My grandmother was in her 80s when she passed, and she spent the last few months of her life with my mom, and they had a hospital bed set up in the one room, and they took care of her. Because my uncle, where she lived, he didn't have any kids left at home, and I still had two sisters at home at the time that could help take care of her. So yeah, they try to do everything on their own and take care of their own. When my mom had COVID, she wanted to leave the hospital. They told her that she was going to die if she did, and she said she doesn't care, she doesn't want to be there anymore. So the only way they would let her leave is if she took an oxygen machine, and she had to have somebody bring a generator over. And the Amish church allowed that for 2 or 3 weeks. It's no different than being in a hospital and being on their electricity. And thank goodness she survived. You know, I thank the Lord for that every day.